now we're going to do it here as a class example, so everybody gets it in their notes and they can see it step by step. We'll maybe put a couple of these on the board, or at least up on the screen in a couple of minutes. Let's take this first one. Now it says find the two intercepts. So I'm going to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. The x-intercept is where, when I graph it, it crosses the x-axis. So where along here does it cross? The y-intercept is where along the y-axis does it cross. With the x-intercept, remember the key to that is that y is 0. The y-intercept, the other guy is 0. When you find an intercept, you're going to be finding that value when the other one is 0. So the x-intercept, y is 0. So let's replace y with that. 3x minus 2 times 0 equals 12. Because at the intercepts, that number is 0. So I'm just replacing y with that 0. All I'll give you is the equation in standard form and say, find the intercepts. So your first job is this process, in this objective, is to remember the intercepts are where one of the two coordinates is 0. And then with the next thing we do is we just substitute that in. So there's my 0. Anything times 0 is 0. Anything minus 0 doesn't change it. So I'm left with 3x equals 12. Divide both sides by 3. X is yeah. Which one did you learn? Because at an intercept, bring this back real quick. At an intercept, either the x is 0, that's the y-intercept, or the x-intercept, the y is 0. These are just the definitions, so to speak, of it that you need to remember. Yeah, the intercepts are where they cross the lines. So y is 0. The other guy is when x is 0. Where does it cross the y-axis? Well, all along the y-axis, x is 0. So I set x equal to 0. So 3 times 0 minus 2y equals 12. Well, that's just 0. It drops out, leaving me negative 2y equals 12. Watch out for that sign. People lose it. You go, oh, that's just 2y. Well, no, it's a negative 2y. Divide both sides by negative 2. Y is negative 6.
I do. It's so easy.
Hey, guys, not everyone's going to get on the first example problem. And there are a lot of kind of new-ish rules here. Not today's. First, you got to remember, when we talk about the intercepts, guys, we're talking about points on the graph where either x is 0 or y is 0. Now, if you remember that rule, the rest of it's just algebra. Because all you're doing is plugging in that 0 for y and then working it out. You're plugging in the 0 for x and you're working it out. So my intercepts are 4, 0. That's this point right here. And 0, negative 6. That's this point down here. And so my graph would look something like this if I were to draw it. So when I talk about the intercept, I'm referring to these 2 points right here. The points where it crosses those. You mean after you get these? You're done. You found the intercept. Problem's over. If there are no more questions, I'll hit stop record. What? At an intercept, yes. That's the definition of the intercept. Jason? Well, this is because I didn't have the graph yet. First, I had to start with the equation. Then I had to say, okay, let's set one or the other to 0. work it all out, get an ordered pair. Now I've got my 2 ordered pairs, and I can use those to draw the graph if I want to. I think that's a good idea. Another example after this one?
Yeah.
Do we have more questions on this question?
I think there was something that was confusing.
Yes, we do, or we need another example? Is this one done? No. Okay, so what question do you have about this problem?
Oh, no.
So this problem is done.
I'm just wondering why.
At the x-intercept? The trick to that, let me go back to this picture real quick. At that point right there, that's where it's crossing the y-axis, right? Because it crossed the y-axis. And at all on this y-axis, x is 0. Every point along here, if I use a different color, talk about this point right here, that point is 0, 25. This point right here is 0, 40. Right. If it when it hits the axis is x is 0. This axis down here is y is 0. And that's why I say, hey, I want to figure out where it crosses there. I set that point to 0 to do that. So when I talk about finding the intercepts, that's what I'm doing. Okay. Put this one.